Everyone in this room, including yourself and each person around you, your family, your children, the people you interact with, your parents, every human being, regardless of race, creed, color, age, or sex, lives by a set of priorities. A set of priorities. And I'll draw that up here as a series of lines. I'll use 7 lines. But everybody has a set of priorities, a set of values, things that are most important to least important in their life. So I'll call this the highest value, the highest priority, or the thing that's most important here. And the lesser or least value, lesser priority or lower priority, and the thing that's less important here. And obviously there's a gradation between that as far as importance. This entire structure is called the value structure. I also like to call it the hierarchy of our values. So every individual has a hierarchy of values, a set of priorities that they run their life by. And this set of values is fingerprint specific. It's unique to you. There will never be 2 people that have exactly the same set of values. But as we go through life, as we evolve, our values are evolving. Some of those values change significantly, some not at all. Whatever is highest on your value, the very highest value, you're spontaneously inspired from within to do. So whatever's highest on your value, you're inspired from within. You do not need motivation or incentives or anything to remind you or motivate you to do the highest value. Now, my highest value is researching and teaching. I do it every day. And for 42 and a half years, nobody has ever had to motivate me to do it. I can't wait to get up in the morning and do that. I love that. This highest value, because it's inspired from within, it's intrinsic. It's from within. As you go down the list of values, the farther you go down, the greater degree of motivation is required to get you to do them. If you require motivation to do what you think is important to you, what you think is important to you isn't important to you. You don't need motivation to do what's highest on your value. You don't need reminding. You don't need persuasion. You don't need anything. It's inspired intrinsically from within. I don't need motivation to research and teach. I am not a motivational speaker. A motivational speaker is somebody trying to motivate you to do something that's not highest on your value with rhetoric and persuasion. I'm an inspired educator. I educate people on how to live congruently with an inspired life. I am interested in one thing: helping an individual get so congruent they never need motivation again. How many of you understand what I'm saying? So these lower values become extrinsic. This highest value in theological terms has been called the calling. So to people who are exploring the metaphysical and esoteric world of the theological and philosophical, it is sometimes called the calling within. You feel that it's what you're ordained to do. The ancient Greeks call it the telos. The telos means the end in mind. Napoleon Hill called it the chief aim. The chief aim is the thing you have a burning desire to do. The burning desire is another name that you have enthusiasm to do it. Enthusiasm means entheos, the God within. You feel inspired from within and feel called to fulfill that telos. I'm a teacher. I had a vision to be a teacher at age 17. That has never left my sight. The ancient Greeks knew how important it was to access this telos, and they made a whole study of it, and they called it teleology. Teleology is the study of meaning and purpose. So your highest value is the most meaningful, most inspiring, most purposeful thing to fulfill in your life. So for whatever it's worth, your purpose is your highest value. So you don't need to look anywhere else but there. That's your purpose. So when you're writing a purpose statement, a mission statement, it is that. It is revolved around the highest value, the most intrinsic you. It's the most integral, authentic you. So this is where you are automatically, spontaneously inspired, where you have most meaning, you're most fulfilled, you're most present in your life. As you go down, you have less degrees of fulfillment. And you require incentives and motivations to keep making you do it because it doesn't mean too much to you. 10-year-old boys who love video games don't need to be reminded or motivated to do their video games. They may need to be reminded or motivated to do their cleaning of their room, doing their homework, these kind of things. But they don't need to be reminded to do what they love to do. Now, your brain has sensory input, sensory nerves, processing internerves, and outgoing motor nerves for affection and effection and selection. But it also has specialized cells called glial cells. Glial cells are specialized cells in the brain that outnumber the nerve cells and are involved in neuroplastically remodeling the brain. So maybe you can write this. Your brain is a telos seeking and fulfilling organ. Your brain is a telos seeking and fulfilling organ. I just had a noted neurologist with me in London who his light bulb went on when he listened to this presentation the other night. He came up to me and he said, "You just changed my whole neurological focus." Your brain is a telos fulfilling organ. It is doing everything it can to assist you in fulfilling your telos. Let me explain. Because you have a hierarchy of values, let's say that you are a mother who has a hierarchy of values where your children, your 3 children under the age of 5, is your highest value. Taking care of those children. Being a great mother. If you walk through the mall, maybe the Santon Convention Center or some mall, if your highest value is your children, when you walk through the mall, you will spot children's items, children's clothes, children's entertainment, children's education, children's health. Anything that's going to help you fulfill what you envision for your children, you will spot in the environment selectively biased attention to notice things in the environment. You can sleep through a freight train, but you'll wake up at the whimpering of a child. Because your telos and your glial cells selectively bias what you attend to and notice in your environment. So you're selecting things according to your telos, your highest value. So your values are governing the remodeling of your brain. So if you walk in a mall and you see things that are related to the children, every nerve ending, eyesight, touch, sound, any nerve sensory input that helps you fulfill the telos, the glial cells will myelinate those nerves to enhance the conduction, neurogenically stimulate the nerves to multiply to enhance more reception. It'll bring nutrition to the cell to make sure that the reception is most smooth, and it will remove any cell that interferes with it, like it removes tree branches from anything that doesn't reach to enlight. Your brain is like an arbor or a tree trying to have enlightenment, and what is enlightenment is what inspires it most. So the brain is literally remodeling itself through the glial cells according to what fulfills your highest value. Every decision you make in the interneurons and every action you take also is selectively biased, retentive, and intentive. That means you're constantly remodeling those nerves that are now acting. So if you have children and your highest value is children, you will eventually master the skill and it'll go almost unconscious in the ability to handle those children. The husband, let's say if that person happens to be an entrepreneur and he comes home and that's not his highest value, his children, but his business is, he will not have the smooth, articulate ability to manage those children as much as the mother. So your sensory, your decisions, and your motor functions are enhanced in the area of your highest values. So your brain is modeling itself and pruning itself to maximize the fulfillment of your life. It is trying to help you be integral and authentic. It is doing everything it can. And anytime you're seeing things that you perceive not fulfilling your telos, where you feel futile, helpless, hopeless, you have the part of the brain, the glial cells, demyelinate the area and bring away the nutrition and prune away the brain. So your brain is dying when you're not fulfilling your telos. And people who do not have meaning and purpose and inspiration and fulfillment because they're not committed to fulfilling their highest value, their brains gradually decay and deteriorate. And people, even with Alzheimer's condition, if that individual has the capacity to identify what's truly valuable and gives them things that are meaningful and challenging and yet inspiring to them, they can forestall that deterioration. We have a purpose to fulfill at any moment in time according to the hierarchy of our values. And every organism that fulfills that telos flourishes. And any organism that's not fulfilling its purpose self-destructs. So the atoms and the molecules and the subatomic particles of that organism will be released into the environment to those who will fulfill the purpose. To those who have, more is given. To those who haven't, more is taken away. When we are fulfilling our mission, we feel fulfilled, more is given to us. We start to synchronize and attract opportunity to us. Because we can spot opportunity, make decisions, and act on it. So our perceptions, our decisions, and our actions are based on our telos, our highest value. Raise your hand if you're with me so far. So we have, in a sense, a selective biased attention, a selective biased retention, and a selective biased intention here. And we have attention deficit disorder here, retention deficit disorder here, an intention deficit disorder here. We're disciplined, we're reliable, and we're focused in our highest values, and we procrastinate, we hesitate, and we frustrate in our lowest values. I don't cook. That's not even on my value list. It's beneath. The last time I cooked, I was 24 years old. To save lives. I don't drive. I've only driven once in the last 24 years, going on 25 years. And that was in Australia, and I was on the wrong side of the road. Anything that is not the highest value, gradually you're going to want to shed and delegate to those people who would be inspired to fulfill it. You reward the world by giving yourself permission to live according to your own highest values, and give the opportunity to those, for them to live according to their highest values on what you delegate. And you build organization as a leader to the degree that you do. Now, if you set a goal that is aligned with that highest value, you have an increasing probability of achievement. Whereas if you set a goal that is based on the lower value, you have a decreasing probability of achievement. You also, if you set a goal at the highest value, you have an increasing probability of self-worth and a belief in yourself. And you increase your certainty in yourself. And you increase your leadership. So this is a path of leader. Everyone in this room has a leader inside them. But your leadership is dormant until you become congruent with your intentions according to your highest value. The moment you set a goal that is congruent and aligned with the highest value, you tend to walk your talk. You tend to become inspired. You tend to become awakened and alert. Your reticular activating system comes alive, and you spot opportunity, you make decisions quickly, and you act. You're disciplined, reliable, and focused. When you live by your highest value, the executive center comes online. The executive center, which is the medial prefrontal cortex of the brain, the telencephalon. The telencephalon is the end in mind, end in brain, that goes with the end in mind. And this is the executive that has self-governance and self-mastery. So the moment you live congruently with your highest values, you become a master of your destiny, not a victim of your history. You become integrated. Everything you'll ever read on leadership, any books you'll read, you will see that all the things they describe in leaders will boil down to what will be integral if you live by the highest values. Because here, you will have resiliency. You will have integrity. You will be inspired. And when you live by the highest values, something really amazing occurs. Because of the executive center visualizes, strategizes, and executes. So the second you become congruent, you know your values and you set sail on them and become captain of your ship and master of your destiny, master of your fate, if you will. The moment you do, your mind, because the executive system comes online, you have self-governance, not emotional animal behavior. You're resilient, and you start to see a vision. So those who are called, who are inspired, see a vision. And as Ian Rand describes, it's not a vision from others, it's an unborrowed vision. It's a vision from within, which creates novel, unique, original, ingenious creations. We all want to make a difference. Our difference that we make is proportionate to our congruency. Because if we're not living by our highest values and we're injecting